Hello. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Rita. Good afternoon.
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Yeah. So Ashima ma'am will be taking your class today for fashion history. She is a NIFT pass out, 2015, and she is brilliant with textiles. So she'll be taking the class. Yeah, Ashima ma'am, please continue. There's one more girl, she'll be coming, but I guess her phone is not reachable right now. So, yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Let's start with
Good
the
afternoon,
class.
ma'am. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Okay, so let's start with the fashion design history. And today we'll talk about more of illustrations, like how they evolved over the period of time, how designers have their own unique style of illustrations, how you can make your own style of illustrations. Like all of you are aspiring to be good designers, so you must have your own style of fashion illustration so that it's different from the others. It's your unique style. So we'll learn about how they evolved over the period of time, how they are made, and then how different designers use them in their designing. So I'll just start sharing a presentation with you all. So I'm just sharing the screen. Okay, so everyone can see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so we'll start with history of fashion illustrations. First of all, a little about the history. Like it started with like 500 years back. It has all, like every designer has their own design of fashion illustrations. They adapt their own ways. It's a representation of design of a garment and also serve as an art of form. Like if a designer has to create a new garment, so before starting with the garment, a designer sketches something like how the fabric will have a different kind of fall, what fabric will be used where, how it will have a fall, what silhouette it will have. I'm sure everyone is understanding the meaning of silhouette and everything, the cut and the layout, how the garment is constructed. Okay, if it is going to have some embroidery somewhere, it is going to be a lehenga. So everything is understood as soon as a designer sketches an illustration. Or if a designer sketches an illustration, gives it to their juniors or the people who actually construct it, like there is a complete team behind that. So suppose a designer has made an illustration in orange color, so everyone knows, okay, here the orange is used, here the tangerine is used, here the brown is used. So an illustration is a, you can say, a piece of paper which actually speaks the mind of a designer, what is there in the designer's head. Okay, so it is also known to be a visual luxury, because visually when you see an illustration, the complete idea of how a garment is going to be is made. Okay, so then the earliest clothing, as the history states, people learn to make clothing with natural resources and use the same as protecting shield from the weather. Like how it started, how garment started. बहुत ज्यादा पहले अगर ठंड थी तो उससे बचने के लिए people started wearing animal skin or maybe leaves से they used to make garments. So this is all how started the need of clothing. Everyone must be knowing in the history. Okay, cave tomb drawings and ancient sculptures tell us that these people used animal skins and hair, plants, grasses, tree and barks. As I told you, कुछ भी use करना है तो जो उनके पास available चीजें थी, एनिमल की स्किन है तो उससे कपड़े बन गए, ओके, ग्रासेस हैं तो उसे समहाउ उन्होंने कभी मैट्स बना लिए, रग्स बना लिए, कभी प्लांट्स हैं तो उससे कुछ उनका यूज हो गया. सो दिस इज हाउ हिस्ट्री स्टार्टेड कि कपड़ों की नीड कैसे कैसे जरूरत हुई, पहले कपड़ा कैसे इवॉल्व हुआ. सो इट स्टार्टेड विद द एनिमल स्किन. लुक्स एंड फैब्रिक्स, ओके, सिंपल इन स्ट्रक्चर एंड डिजाइन. पहले कैसे होते थे, अगर सिर्फ एनिमल स्किन है तो भाई वो जितनी बड़ी होगी उसको ही वो कैसे ड्रेप कर लेंगे, तो बहुत ही ज्यादा सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर है। फिर उसके बाद जैसे प्लांट से इन्होंने फ्लैक्स प्लांट होता है जिससे लिनन डराइव होता है, उससे उन्होंने एक सिंपल गारमेंट बनाया। तो उन्हें बस ये पता था कि यहाँ से हाथ घुसाना है, यहाँ से पैर घुसाना है, तो बहुत ही सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर्स, लाइक नो कॉम्प्लिकेशंस। जैसे आज के हमारे गारमेंट्स होते हैं, दे हैव जिपर्स, दे हैव हाई नेक्स, दे हैव जैकेट्स, ऐसा कुछ तो होता ही नहीं था। तो जो उनके पास था उनको उन्होंने कैसे यूज किया वो हम आपको बता रहे हैं। उनके पास सिर्फ एनिमल स्किन थी तो ओके, इट हैड 2 होल्स एट द बॉटम, तो वो पैर डालने के लिए यूज हो जाता था। तो वेरी वेरी सिंपल एंड नॉट एट ऑल कॉम्प्लिकेटेड स्ट्रक्चर्स ऑफ डिजाइन वर थे। ओके, एंड फ्रॉम रीजन टू रीजन, ओके, जिस एरिया में जोन सा एनिमल हुआ या जोन सा प्लांट हुआ, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन रीजन टू रीजन, जहाँ पे जिसकी ग्रोथ होती है वहां पे उस एरिया के लोगों को वहां का एनिमल का या प्लांट का प्रोडक्ट मिलता था। Linen, as I told you, linen clothes were made from flax plants by Egyptians. The Egyptians they started making linen clothes. Flax is a plant. If you study technically, flax is the other name of linen, because linen is a garment but flax is a fiber जिससे linen बनता है. Inhabitants of India, Pakistan and Americans made food, a fabric of cotton 1000 years later. Okay, ये 3 कंट्रीज थी जिन्होंने ये फैब्रिक्स को, कॉटन फैब्रिक्स को डिराइव किया था, बट इट वाज मच लेटर। फैशन ऑफ अर्ली सिविलाइजेशंस, as you can see in the pictures, these people learned to grow different crops and raise different animals. स्टार्टिंग में पहले जो उनसे भी एनिमल्स नेचुरली थे रीजन्स में, उन्होंने उनकी स्किन से डिराइव करे। देन उसके बाद कुछ ब्रीडिंग हुई, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एनिमल्स और आने लग गए, तो उनके एनिमल स्किन्स यूज होने लगे, डिफरेंट टाइप्स आ गए। कभी स्नेक ने अपनी स्किन छोड़ी तो उससे ये लोग डिराइव करें, मतलब वही ना, आफ्टर वन एंड दी अदर उन्होंने इवोल्यूशन होता गया, एक से दूसरी चीज से तीसरी, वो ग्रो करते गए। और आज ग्रो करके हम लोग कहाँ पे बैठे हैं, वी हैव ऑल मैन मेड क्लोथिंग, नेचुरल फाइबर्स है हमारे पास, बट हम लोग के जितने भी गारमेंट्स और स्ट्रक्चर्स है, दे आर ऑल वेल डिजाइंड. स्टार्टेड हॉर्निंग द स्किल्स ऑफ स्पिनिंग, वीविंग एंड डाइंग. यहाँ से हमारी जो अर्ली सिविलाइजेशंस में हमारी डाइंग कैसे होती थी, नेचुरली जो जो कलर्स अवेलेबल होते थे, हल्दी से होती थी सिर्फ, आपके उससे हो जाती थी, जैसे नेल्स वगैरह तो खैर बहुत बाद में आए हैं, लोहा वगैरह तो सब कुछ बहुत बाद में आया कि हम रस से भी नहीं कर सकते थे, लाइक इंडिगो था, उन सब से डाइंग स्टार्ट हुई। वीविंग उन्होंने स्टार्ट की, इवोल्यूशन था पूरा कि धीरे धीरे उन्होंने कुछ सीखा, धीरे धीरे उन्होंने कुछ सीखा, तो करते करते इनकी स्पिनिंग, वीविंग एंड डाइंग स्टार्ट हुई। बिगैन टू कट फैब्रिक्स इनटू डिफरेंट गारमेंट्स। धीरे धीरे, अच्छा अब यहाँ पे हाथ डालने की नीड है तो आर्म होल्स बनने लग गए। ओके, स्लीव्स में पूरी पूरी ठंड लग रही है तो फुल स्लीव्स होने लग गए। दे नीड टू कवर देयर लेग्स, अदरवाइज इनिशियली दे only knew how to cover their genital areas. Eventually they understood, okay, नहीं, the whole body has to be covered. अगर आप लोगों ने बहुत पुरानी मूवीज देखी हैं तो उसमें आपको समझ में आएगा, they used to just tie around leaves around their waist. So that is how the need of the complete clothing. ठंड लगी तो okay, सब कुछ कवर करना है. So region to region developments, depending upon the weather, depending upon the animals, depending upon the plants, सब कुछ फैब्रिक्स एंड गारमेंट्स का इवोल्यूशन होता चला गया. मेजर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस जो दिए थे, बिकॉज पीपल वर अ लिटिल मोर एजुकेटेड, मोर एडवांस, ग्रीस में, इजिप्ट में, चाइना में, रोमन्स ने, जापान में, इन सबके भी लोगों का बहुत ज्यादा, बिकॉज इवन इफ एजुकेशन हर जगह इतनी नहीं, ऑब्वियसली नहीं थी, बिल्कुल ही नहीं थी, बट हाँ, दीज कंट्रीज वर अ लिटिल मोर रिच. सो इंडियंस के कंपैरेटिवली इनिशियली अर्ली सिविलाइजेशंस में फैब्रिक्स और गारमेंट्स का बहुत मेजर रोल इन कंट्रीज ने प्ले किया था. प्रोसेस ऑफ फैशन इलस्ट्रेशन अब क्या होती है? वी हैव स्टडीड अबाउट द पास्ट की फैब्रिक और वो सब का इवोल्यूशन कैसे था, बट हाँ, वी विल बी फोकसिंग मोर ऑन द इलस्ट्रेशंस टुडे. द पोर्ट्रेट, टू पोर्ट्रे द डिटेल्स ऑफ गारमेंट्स, एज आई टोल्ड यू, एक डिजाइनर के माइंड में क्या चलता है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इट्स हिस्ट्री. Everyone, please don't get so bored. This is very important. You need to understand how you can create your own illustrations to be unique. So this is important for you to understand. Okay, to portray the details of garments, as I told you, okay, what is there in the designer's head. Like I want to sketch something, I want to make, first of all, to tell my client that how the outcome will be of the outfit they want, or whatever we are discussing upon their occasion or whatever. So I have to sketch it out for the client, first of all, to make them understand visually, okay, so this is how the dupatta is going to be, this is how the embroidery is going to be, this is how the color is going to be. So one foremost thing is ideation, which is there in your mind, to put it on the paper. First reason is to make your clients be aware, okay, this is the thing, whatever two people are discussing, you're putting it on the paper so that you guys are on the same page. Second, you have a team. Okay, so the team has to make the complete thing. Obviously, one designer cannot go and get the source material and dye and make blueprint of embroideries and do embroidery yourself. Only one, this is not a one-man work. This is a complete army is required to make any outfit. You talk about customization or you talk about export. So that is how a paperwork is very, very important. In illustration is like the soul of the garment, obviously, because that is only going to be which is being followed by everyone. Okay, so that is how it is the most important thing, illustration. And the artist feeling, designers utilize techniques such as gouache, marker, pastel, and ink. Okay, so there are a lot of colors, a lot of inks, and got a lot of paint brushes, different techniques, different strokes are used to make illustrations. Somewhere you want to give a translucent effect, so what technique you will be using. Somewhere you want to give, okay, detailed embroidery effect, what kind of markers or pens you will be using. This is how an illustration is made. So you need to have the basic knowledge about these materials. With the growth of digital art, some artists have begun to use Photoshop. Okay, so this is not necessary that you make everything by hand. Definitely, with the technology, you can always make it on Photoshop or Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, because that saves your time. You have your basic ready. You can definitely just keep changing. There is no like, you don't need to be worried about redoing it, because in illustration, somewhere if you go a little wrong, you can't redo it. In digital, you can always change the colors, you can have more options, but in sketches manually you can't. Artists typically start with a croquis sketch. Okay, what are croquis? I'll tell you. Of a figure and develop a look around it. Croquis are the basics. I'll just give you a detailed information about croquis. That is like the basic thing you start an illustration with. The artist is meticulous in his depiction of the garments, fabrics, and shapes. Clothing is usually depicted. Okay, so we'll just talk about croquis, and then I'll talk about different things like how is the complete process, detailed process of the fashion illustration is done. And foremost thing is, first of all, you need to understand what fabrics you're using. As I told you, some are translucent, some are opaque. So like here, it is written, typically the artist will look for fabric sample swatches to emulate in their drawing. So you need to know what is the outcome, then only you start with the illustration. First, you need to design everything in your head, and then you put it on a piece of paper or digitally. What are the different types of illustration? Okay, as I told you, that different types of illustrations that are used to communicate design intentions. One is croquis, one is finished drawings, then is flats, and then is blow-ups. In detail, we'll talk about these. Let's start with croquis. Any doubt to anyone till now? No. Students, anyone has any doubt about anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Let's start with croquis. The word croquis comes from French and means simply sketch. You can see in the picture, it is a simple basic sketch which just defines the posture of the, maybe you can say a model who's standing, and you are just putting it on a piece of paper. Croquis drawing is quick and sketchy drawing of a live model. This is basically done for, say, if I want to sketch a model who's standing in a particular pose. You can say the pose 1 in the picture, leftmost picture. So I will just sketch the model who's standing. Like I'll just do a quick sketch, which is called a croquis. And what I'll do is, and let the model be ease, because I can't make the model keep standing for like hours till I complete her complete outfit sketch. So a croquis is just made to make the basis of how your illustration will look like, how your model is standing, wearing the outfit in future. So you will just assume that, make a model stand in a particular posture, just draw a croquis quick sketch, then you will see the outfit you want to make, and then you will start with the detailed illustration. As it is written here, croquis drawing is quick and sketchy drawing of a live model. So you can see how a girl is standing, you just make it and the model is at ease, and then you can just complete it with the fabrics or garment you just want to use. Then you can do it all yourself. These are usually made in a few minutes, after which the model changes pose or leans and another croquis is drawn. So that if we have one model who's standing in 3 different poses. So we will just quickly sketch the croquis of a model standing in 3 different poses, and then we'll be using those croquis to make our final illustrations. A croquis is often an outline silhouette for use by a designer, as I just told you. These sketches are typically done in a rough form with a pencil on white paper or in a sketchbook, and are used in the conceptual stage of the design process. Like how the flare will come, this is like the rough work, you can say, basically you do, but this is like the most important, because here you understand the fall, you practice the fall. Then after the initial sketch, the foundation of another work such as art, as a painting, or maybe used as a work of art itself. Models benefit from the brief duration of the pose because they do not have to stay still for longer periods of time, as I just told you. Painters benefit because it allows them to focus on the vital features of the pose or the most significant parts of the drawing. Because an artist does not have enough time to sketch all the details, they must learn to focus on the most critical components. Like somebody wants to make like tall legs or something, so that you need to just define on the croquis. Croquis is also a fantastic way to sketch subjects that don't usually remain still and pose. Okay, these can be made for anybody, not only humans, but for animals, toddlers, anybody. Now, croquis is done. So that was the basic structure. After croquis, we do finished drawings. A finished artwork is a piece that has been worked to a particular level of detail. You can see in the illustration how a croquis is different from a finished artwork. You can see in the picture that how the drape is coming, or how the bun is made, or how the shoes are made. So you can see the difference in between a croquis and a finished drawing. You cannot make a finished drawing without drawing a croquis, because that's like the basic, that gives the proportion of the illustration which is going to be. There are various levels of finish, from a basic outline to a finished sketch, then from a basic drawing to a highly finished piece of work. You can keep adding detailing as much as you want. These are fully rendered final illustrations of a fashion figure or series of figures. You can have like the complete sketch. You can sorry, make a complete look. For say you just made a jacket, you give one illustration pairing a jacket with a pair of trousers, or then a second illustration with a with the jeans, a fitted jeans. Third, you can give with a skirt. So this is how you can make a complete range also. Just how you can completely differently style it. So for styling as well, this is very important. Fashion illustrations. These are final illustrations of a fashion figure on a series of figures that have been entirely created. They convey to the intended buyer the attitude of the garment or collection. Exactly. So in the illustration, you can understand like how it is placed in different manners, so that the buyer also knows, okay, I can style it in a manner, style it in that manner. Okay, this is how it will look like onto my body. So this is one most important thing that I'm repeating many a times that fashion illustrations are like the most important things in your fashion design. For a trendy impression, styling and accessories that are not part of the fashion collection might be used. Okay, so for say you are a fashion designer, you develop a complete range of jackets, but you need to show different styling options with the jacket. Okay, the jacket, as I told you, can be worn with skirt, your pair of jeans or pair of trousers or anything. So you can add on things. You can maybe add a sling bag, you can maybe add shoes. And in future, in further, you will see like Sabyasachi Mukherjee, designer Sabyasachi Mukherjee's illustrations you must have seen. He started making spectacles on every illustration. So that was his style of making an illustration. So you can just add on accessories in illustrations itself just to make them different or to make them unique in your own way. Like in the previous illustration, there were boots. So you can have, maybe you are a designer who has just designed jackets, but you can add as many as accessories in your illustrations to make them different, and you can make that makes your garment more sellable. Sales, merchandising, marketing, and a variety of other departments of a corporation can use these designs. As I told you, like one jacket can be worn in many different ways. If you put different styling options, so that those options can be used for your sales and marketing. Also, like there are so many things you must be seeing in different advertisements, that the advertisement is just for a gold necklace maybe, but our model is wearing a sari. So the intention is to put more focus on a gold necklace, but the sari is adding such uplifting the necklace. So that is how it's not necessary what all things you're putting on the illustration, they are part of your design. They can be just to enhance your design. Before the initial outfit or prototypes are made, the sketches provide these teams a sense of what is in store for that season. Yeah. So this is also very important. Like a designer has designed a complete range, but every time you cannot put that range in the front. Photo shoots, okay, came later. But illustrations help, okay, I have this collared jacket already. I can make now this collared jacket, or these sleeves I have made already. So I'll make different kind of sleeves. So what is there in the store, what is there, what can be made new, this all these prototypes or your sketches make you have a complete archive. This is basically an archive for all your designs. The teams can provide feedback on whether or not this will work for their consumer, and designs may need to be altered as a result. Okay, in our process, in our industry, everything is not put on like sampling. Sampling is like making one garment of your design. So after making an illustration, the whole team can get an idea, okay, this is sellable or this is not. So you don't need to spend on sampling every time, not necessarily to buy a fabric, stitch it and then make a call. You can simply put it on a piece of paper in a form of illustration and then make a call, okay, this is sellable or this is not sellable, because you can foresee the garment. Specifications are all the details like you really need to be careful about. Okay, the longer legs, more physically appealing, the clothes and everything. By using basic sketching grid known in the 9-headed figure, each set of lines, all these you will understand when you are doing complete fashion illustration theory, because everyone has their own way of doing it. So I will not put more focus on the specifications. I will tell you more of a history and more of its usage. Okay, the illustrator applies clothing, accessories, color, texture, movement, and attitude. Okay, your croquis can have different attitude. You can have hands up, hands down, hand side, side profile, left, whatever. So that's your complete idea. Like if you your croquis, your outfit is going to be like for say a blazer. So how a model has to be standing when wearing a blazer, what should the attitude be like? So this is all depends on the croquis and then on the illustration. Illustration attitude plays a major role. Like if an outfit is going to be like a lehenga, how a model has to be standing, the same way your illustration has to be there. Okay, you want to show, suppose, embroidery on the sleeve, so you need your model to be standing on the side. So this attitude has to be conveyed through your fashion illustration. Okay, so this is how I have just told you how from a croquis to a finished illustration it works. So you can clearly understand. Now let's come on to the flat drawings. We have done illustrations. Illustrations, we have understood the complete body language is involved in illustrations. What are flat drawings? You see a garment, put it on a flat surface is a flat drawing, and then you sketch it, it's a flat drawing. You can see in the picture. There's no head, no legs, no body involved. This is a flat drawing, just giving details about your garment. No focus on any other thing. This just conveys the style you have made. No attitude, no additional accessories, nothing. These are drawn using a larger, more realistic body scale than the 900 figure. Okay, so this is all the technicality you have to follow for the flat drawings. These designs are made 1/2 at a time on tracing paper over the form. For details and exactness, rulers, curves, and templates are used while drawing. What should the collar width be? How long the sleeves to be? These are more accurate. Illustrations provide a look of the garment, how it is going to look in the future. Flat drawings provide the complete detail, how it is going to be. For perfect symmetry, the first half of the drawing is folded over and traced onto the other side. These graphics are sometimes scanned and manipulated in a CAD system, computer aided design system, before being saved in the style library. The silhouettes start out in a pencil, like you can see in the picture, how detailed the garment is, what the fabric's going to be, how the collar going to be, how the pockets going to be. After the drawings are finalized, colors are sometimes applied and the flats are utilized as virtual paper rolls for retailing, buying and selling. They might be saved as CAD type, like I told you. These are like specifications it gives. So these are also important for your archives. Look is derived from the illustration. The detailed garment is derived from the flat drawing. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Anyone has any doubts till now? Please, guys, if you have any doubts, please ask so that you understand everything very properly. Guys, I'm audible. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any doubts?
No, ma'am. No.
Sure, I'm clear.
Ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then comes blow up drawings. This is the fourth type of drawings, as I mentioned. Blow up tells a lot about the specifications, how the stitch size has to be. You can see in the picture how detailed it is. What has to be the size of the pocket? What has to be the button like? What has to be the stitch size? What has to be the belt size? Everything. So this is the most technical thing you'll do. First is croquis, the base structure of how your model is standing. Second is your fashion illustration, sketches, which shows how your outfit is going to be like. Third is your flat drawing, giving the details. And next is blow up drawings, giving complete technicalities of how it is going to be made. So this is more for garment construction, like the one who is going to make the outfit. Later, the pattern master will cut it. And this is mainly used for the garment construction. Okay, fashion illustrators. There are so many fashion illustrators you can know, like in the world, and they have their own unique style of making illustrations. We'll just talk about them. Okay, so these are some active illustrators. Like, once again. Yeah. Julie Beherswin is a British illustrator and designer who has collaborated with brands such as Louis Vuitton, Versace, and Peter Jensen. While she is recognized primarily for her work in fashion, she has also contributed illustrations to books, magazines, and many Vogue editions had their illustrations. So you can see in the pictures that she has a style of her illustrations. You can understand, like she makes more with watercolors, and how the model is standing mostly is a side profile. So every time you see a designer, you will get to know that they have their own way of making illustration. Some designers make very tall legs, some designers make a different sort of a face, some designers do not put a face, they put something else onto the face. So whenever you see a designer at that level, so they have their own style of making an illustration. So her work has been widely exhibited, including at London's Hayward Gallery. Then is David Downton has established a reputation as one of the world's leading fashion artists. His classically elegant yet highly contemporary images have been a key factor in the revival of interest in the tradition of fashion illustration, and David is a worthy successor to the great artist in his field. Like you can see, his work is more of an artist than a designer. You can see in the pictures like how the hat is falling and how only one eye is visible and how the model is standing. Like you can see, they have their own style. These are more artistic. Carl Erickson was a fashion illustration, and okay, these are notable illustrator and advertising artist who was very well known for his work with Vogue magazine and Coty Cosmetics. He worked for Vogue from 1916 to 1958 when he died. He made the transition into fashion drawings, his first fashion illustration for the trade journal. Okay, so as you study about designers, you will study about their different sort of illustration. It is very important for you to understand, to study about each designer, so that it helps you to derive your own style. Maybe you can pick up like maybe a post from one designer, and you end up making something new for yourself. But you need to know, okay, a designer has to be like, I have seen an illustration, okay, you understand, okay, this is this designer, this is Carl Erickson, this is this is that. Antonio Lopez was a fashion illustrator whose work appeared in such publications as Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Elle, Interview, and the New York Times. Several books collecting. Okay, so we have studied about 4 as of now. So you can see the difference. Every designer has their own way. He generally signed his works as Antonio. Lopez explored themes of queer desire and race in his art through cultural references to subjects such as Josephine Baker and the Wild One. These were the subjects he basically made on, and so you can see like one model, like in one illustration on the left side, you can see this is a page of, I think, a magazine, and in one the model is showing her back because the detailing of the garment is at the back. The other is standing in one manner, the other is standing in the other manner, but then you can see the hairstyle and everything. It looks like one model completely, like hairdo and everything, but they have used different footwear, different stockings. There is one in 2 of the illustrations, there are stockings also, red and brown. So that is how, as I told you, you can add different accessories to enhance your own garment, to make your illustration even more better, and to make your product more sellable and more understandable. Okay, so this is Tarun Tahiliani. So he's an Indian designer, very famous designer, everyone must have heard about. So he has his own way of illustrations. Like you can see, very, very small size of the waist, and see how he has made the face. It looks so different than usual, obviously. So he has his own way of illustrations. Guys, are you understanding me? That how can you have your own way of illustrations? How illustrations have evolved over the years, and how is the history behind it? What is the history behind it? I have told you about Tarun Tahiliani. You can see how the face is, how broad the shoulders are, how petite is the waistline, and how different is the face from a normal face. Then Sabyasachi, you can see all the illustrations have goggles on it. So this is how different designers have their own way. And this is how it goes on from one level to the other, from a croquis to a final sketch, from a blow up design. I have given you complete details about how it has to be, like how it grows from one thing to the other, how you can have your own style. And a style comes on its own. You need to develop your own style. You need to see, okay, what works the best out for you. So you need to maybe practice, maybe see more styles, and then develop your own. Anyone has any doubts till now? I'm at the end of the content part. So anyone has any doubts, I can explain more. Anyone has not understood anything? I can't hear anybody. Pranjal, Rita.
No, ma'am, I'm understanding everything right now.
Anything you want me to talk about more?
No, ma'am. After you finish the presentation, I'll ask you a few questions which are not related, like which are in general. So I'll ask you later when you are finished with the presentation.
I think I'm almost done with it. If you have any doubts about the presentation, first we can clear about those doubts, and then maybe you can ask anything related to design.
Yeah, ma'am. So in the illustrators you showed us, one of the illustrator was in like the advertising in the magazines, like his illustrations were in the magazine.
Yeah.
So
David Downton. Oh, sorry, this Erickson.
no, the one that is below him. Red ones, yeah.
Antonio Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like these illustrations are like, do we have to make the real garments and then place it, or the work of illustrator is just to draw and then use them in the magazines or in any sort of medium?
See, that completely depends on what field you are in. For say, I'll explain both the things, both of your queries. Illustrations are used in all the places. Like for example, you are a designer. You are dealing a customer directly. Customization I'm talking about completely right now. If you are dealing a customer, for example, you are Tarun Tahiliani, a bride comes to you, needs to get a lehenga for herself. She sees 3-4 things. She likes dupatta of one, blouse of one, but lehenga of the third one. So she wants a new complete outfit which has embroidery of one garment, color of one garment, and blouse design of one garment. So what Tarun Tahiliani will do is that he will sketch that for her. Okay, this embroidery with this dupatta on this blouse in this color looks like this in an illustration. So the bride will at least have an idea, okay, after mixing all these 4-5 things, my outfit will somewhere look like this. Okay, so this is how illustration works. This is one thing. Second thing, you work for an export house. Export house, you develop a jacket, or maybe a designer. You are a designer, or maybe you are just an illustrator. Okay, anything. Suppose a designer has given you a jacket, or you are a designer yourself. You develop a jacket. For say this red jacket you have developed, but you need to put it to the merchandising team in the form of illustrations, that how is this jacket can be worn in different ways, so that the merchandisers can get you more buyers. अगर आपने एक जैकेट बनाई है, आप उसको दिखा रहे हो कि हाँ भाई ये वाली जैकेट इस वे में भी पहन सकते हैं, इस वे में भी पहन सकते हैं, इस वे में भी पहन सकते हैं. So that is more versatile. You're getting my point. So you portray that through illustrations. Okay, these are the uses, and that is how it becomes more sellable. So wherein that completely depends on you, that you can completely be a designer yourself who just designs one thing in an illustration, or you become an illustrator who makes different pieces. That completely depends on your job profile.
Okay.
Here I would like to add a bit. Like for example, a bride comes to Tarun Tahiliani and gets her outfit done. So what happens if Tarun makes a sketch for that bride? And eventually what happens is bride says, no, I don't want this dupatta, I want this dupatta. Finally, while constructing, it gets changed. Now what happens is they want to portray it in a magazine. So what they do is they resketch after making the garment. So whatever changes they incorporate in that revised sketch. So it's both the ways. Sometimes it sketch is made before the garment, and sometimes when it's used for magazine, it's designed, it's redesigned or re-edited for the magazine's purposes.
Right.
Okay.
So I hope we have answered your query.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Any doubts now?
Yogita is also there. Yogita, you have any questions?
Okay. Anybody has any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Yeah.
there. No question, ma'am.
Okay.
So you understood how is it? How it in now you, I hope now when you start doing your illustrations, you will understand better, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you will understand, like, because I have seen that, like, some of these students were stuck with the croquis. They were like so much stuck with the, am I right, Rita? You were stuck with the croquis, now you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Good, very good.
Any doubts to anybody? We are still left with a few minutes. I can clear as many doubts as you want. There's so much noise at the background. I'm not audible if somebody is speaking.
Yogita? Yogita, are you there? Yogita? Pranjal, you wanted to ask some references of the history of fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll just share them on the chat.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
I completely forgot.
Yeah, you can just keep continuing. I'll just put it on the chat.
Yeah.
Give me a minute or two. Anything you want, I can answer simultaneously.
Okay, hello, Ashima, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So we close the meeting for now, or if no one has any doubts?
Ma'am, I have certain questions related to the portfolio and like my future studies. Is it okay if I ask you?
Yes.
Like to Ashima, because I think Ashima. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, so like I want to study fashion communications.
Okay.
And I want to apply for London College of Fashion, but I don't have background of fashion in, like, I don't have a degree as such in fashion.
Okay.
But I am stuck at the like the portfolio part. I don't know what to add in the portfolio. Like they have asked us to add 30 images in the portfolio, but I'm not sure exactly what I have to include in the communications side.
Okay, so communication basically depends. For example, I'll just give you a one-liner statement. Like you see a Karan Johar film,
Yeah.
that's fashion communication. Your magazines, it's all fashion communication. So you have done anything like any work, like you have made a book in your what have you done basically beforehand?
So I have done my bachelor's in pharmacy, and then I have done my project management master's. But
Okay.
from like past 1.5 years, I have my own brand, which has like clothing and stationery products. So for
Okay.
clothing, I have done tie-dye stuff like t-shirts, then hoodies, sweatshirt, joggers, some saris, and everything I have made in tie-dye pattern. Also in stationery, I have designed notebooks, yearly planners, to-do list, and all those kind of stuff.
Oh, that's great. So what you can do is maybe you can just get a complete photo shoot, a complete fashion styling, because in fashion communication, fashion styling plays a major role.
Yeah.
So the outfits you have made, you can
Mhm.
do complete fashion styling and get a complete photo shoot done.
Okay.
Okay, so then how your model is standing, everything like the background, how, like your each picture has to speak about fashion. It is communicating fashion which you are going to pursue in future. But your background has to be such. If you have your products made, you can definitely go ahead with a nice styling option. You can add as many as accessories you can. You can have nice, you can have a theme based portfolio wherein your photo shoots are also done in a very nice manner, like with a proper theme and backgrounds. Then maybe you can go ahead with a nice photo shoot of your stationery. How that stationery, like maybe you can have a nice video of how your stationery, because making a video also is fashion communication.
Yeah.
You can make a nice video of all the stationery products you have. So that is how maybe you can add the things in your, because it's not restricted that a portfolio because a portfolio is generally made depending upon your own personality.
Yeah.
It has to depict you, your work. So
Mhm.
you can have your videos also in portfolio. You can have nice pictures with your background. It's not necessarily in your portfolio if you have designed a diary. So you have to click complete diary ka pura page and then put it in your portfolio. You can have a nice background, maybe with a cup of coffee on the side and some pencils or something. Like you can have a nice
Yeah, like the flat.
composition.
Yeah.
You can have a nice composition of your product, then click a picture and then put it in your portfolio. So I think if I have to mark on it, so I will mark more on the photo shoot you have done of your product you have made,
Okay.
not only the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you are going to pursue fashion communication. I hope I'm clear.
Yes. And for the photography and the styling thing,
Yeah.
so for my brand, I usually collaborate with lot of like content creators and everything. So if I ask them to do the photo shoot and they send me the pictures, will that work? Because then it will have like real model and everything.
Yeah, that will work. But as far as your designing and your fashion sense, your fashion styling is being covered, then it's fine. Whosoever clicks a picture.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Any doubts to anybody about anything you have studied today?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll just quickly add on to the chat here the
Yes.
link.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just not getting links over here. Ritu ma'am, do we have any group or somewhere we can share the link?
What you can do is you can share it to me. I can share it individually with the students. We have a broadcast group.
Yeah, that's great, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'll just share with you because I'm
Yeah.
that's on my phone and I'm not able to put it on.
No
Here.
issues. I'll share it personally with because Pranjal wanted some links
Yeah,
to
I
some
have 3,
kind
4
of
of them right now. I'll just
yeah.
quickly share it with you as soon as the session gets over.
Yeah. Anybody else has any doubts, anything? Hope you'll be able to improve your illustrations from now on.
Yes.
Because these kind of sessions really help with your though our classes all are practical, but sometimes these sessions really help to improve your knowledge and to so we really thank Ashima ma'am for being
Thank
here
you, ma'am.
with us. We'll conclude the meeting for now if nobody has any doubts. Yogita, you have any doubt? I think Yogita joined a little late.
Yogita, you want me to repeat any certain topic you want?
Okay, let's end this meeting for now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.